It is an honor to have you here with us as we celebrate all things arts at our flagship institution and recognize the impact that our people are having across the globe.
Glen Ballard is a very special person, and he's a lot of things.
He's a modern music maestro.
He is one of the greatest songwriters.
He is the songwriter.
Glen is a brilliant artist, writer, producer, and collaborator.
His works as a songwriter, producer, composer have graced the worlds of film, stage, culture, pop music.
It's incredible to see his artistry come to life because, simply put, Glen is an artist. It's so simple but yet so profound that everything that he touches comes to life. What he writes, what he records, who he records with is just magical.
I know his music, and I grew up in the 80s dancing and jamming out to Michael Jackson, to the Pointer Sisters.
He created a TV show on Netflix. He can do anything. And he does it with such, artistic flair and beauty that he's a Renaissance man.
One of the greatest musicians. He's a poet, he's a storyteller.
He's just all heart and soul, and I'm proud to have worked with him for so many years and value our friendship.
It works, it works, it works! It works! We're sending you back to the future! Okay, all right.
So Glen's a Mississippi boy. He, like so many other Mississippians, have done very well in the music industry as lyricists, as songwriters, and also as producers. They say there's something in the water in Mississippi, but we've been the lead state in the music industry.
And I remember when I met him, it was, it was a connection immediately. It was like, oh my gosh, Ole Miss and Mississippi, the top of the Delta, the bottom of the Delta, Natchez to Tunica, and we just hit it off.
He is so well versed in American music, and it comes from his southern roots.
Mississippi's got a long, amazing history of musical output that's touched the world. And you've got Sam Cooke and B.B. King and Elvis, and it goes on and on. The list is huge. And Glen is one of those in a big way.
Oxford is a community that is known for music, food, and art. The university's impact is demonstrated by the great contributions of alumni like Glen Ballard.
He has a particular love for William Faulkner and Walker Percy. So the great writers and great literature and great contribution to the arts that Ole Miss has made, my dad was always very proud of it, and it was always really special to him.
We often talk about the Ole Miss family, and Glen really is a member of that family. To talk with him, for him to express his experiences that he had when he was here as a student, his eyes light up. He has this absolute, deep, profound love for this institution.
Bringing Glen back home gives the community of Oxford the chance to learn about his incredible music career. And it gives everyone a chance to see how a career in the arts is not an impossible feat.
So in my house, I have a collection, I've started to collect, I should say, Ole Miss yearbooks. And the older they get, the harder they are to find. But I've got a lot, probably 100. And there's one that just sticks out on the shelf like a sore thumb. It doesn't look like any of the others. It's Hunter Green, and that is the yearbook that Glen Ballard was the editor for. And that's, look, he's 1 in 100, he's 1 in a million. He stands out.
I've only met Glen one time, and it was at the LSU football game, and it was just really cool because it was really neat how he was engaged with our players, and Somebody like that who, of that magnitude and that significance and that stature, he was engaged and he knew about our players, he knew about our programs.
Ole Miss to him is home. It's such a huge part of his roots and his cultural heritage. His mother went there, 2 of his sisters went there. So to him, Ole Miss is home, and he's obsessed with Ole Miss football. You've watched so many games over the years, so there's just an incredible amount of nostalgia, but as well as just feeling like he's at home.
Glen Ballard, what can you say? 6 Grammys. It's hard to win 1 Grammy. Glen is outstanding in the field.
Without Glen, I wouldn't have a great career, and especially wouldn't be managing Katy Perry. He is, not the front person, but he's behind the scenes, and there would be no Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette without Glen. There would be no Katy Perry. He's worked with Michael Jackson and Dave Matthews Band and so many others, and the entire business knows Glen Ballard and has a lot of respect for Glen.
It's your kids, Marty.
He's had he's so ubiquitous, and he's been everywhere in this industry. He truly is like a grand master, like a Jedi of songwriting and record producing. He's also a deeply compassionate man who is greatly concerned with the feelings of others and their people finding their passions and pursuing it. He's always been someone to me that has encouraged me to follow my heart, and that's the kind of father he is.
In the late 1990s, we were kayaking, and our kayaks flew out to sea in 40-knot winds and huge swells, and I thought we were going to die, and I was just a kid, and my dad saved the day and lashed our boats together, and he was so cool and calm under pressure. I mean, he's a music producer, not a sailor, but that day he was Admiral Lord Nelson, and I discovered what a badass my dad is.
I'll never forget the first time I met Glen. I had been called to do a film called The Polar Express by Bob Zemeckis, and we knew there were going to be quite a few songs in the film. And I thought, this might be the right time for me to reach out to an experienced, wonderful writer-producer to join us on the project and collaborate with us. And I had heard about Glen for a long time, but I had never met him. And I have to say, I was quite nervous. I had never collaborated with anyone on this level before. So I got up the nerve and made the call and went to see him. And I remember the door opened, and it wasn't like I was with someone I had known my whole life, but it was like I was with someone I had known and loved my whole life.
His work has meant more to the world than I'll ever know. That's for sure, because I meet strangers all over the world, decades after albums have been released. And when they find out that Glen Ballard is my father, people have broke down in tears to me. People have wanted to hold my hand. His music has obviously changed a lot of people's lives.
Without a doubt, he's worthy of this award, and it's, to me, somebody with his character and the integrity and the way he presents himself. He represents us, he represents Ole Miss, he represents the state in such a beautiful way. And I think that combined with this endless creativity. Knowing Glen, he's trying to figure out how this spotlight on him can be reflected on everybody else. And I hear he's teaching some classes while he's here, playing some music, and getting involved. I'm not surprised. That's how he thinks.
This is a big honor for Glen because it comes from his home where he started, and to be honored that way, I know means a lot to him.
It would be one of the greatest honors of his life to be honored next to all the great writers that Ole Miss has produced over the years. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that my dad is incredibly proud to be an alumni of Ole Miss, and there is no one better for this award.
Absolutely.